Hi, I'm Emma, a medical doctor, a survivor of domestic violence and narcissistic abuse. And today I want to tell you how to defeat the narcissist in the divorce or in the court setting. Sun Tzu said, "Every general should know these principles. He who adheres to them shall win. He who knows them not shall fail." What do you mean? Like, is divorce a war? This is a person that I have been really trying to help, and I still have some feelings for him. I know you do. It is still a war. He will, being an abuser, being a narcissistic individual, he will do his very best to take you down, and he will fight dirty. So the first step is just to realize that you are in a battle, if you want it or not. And it will not be a fair game. So you need to use strategies to be able to get your fair share and to be able to protect yourself. The first step is recognizing that you do have a soft spot for this man. You feel empathy and pity for him. You wish him the best. That partly it is because of being in a relationship where your whole aim was to keep him happy. So this has become ingrained into your psychology, that it is important that he is happy and that you care deeply for him. Part of it is that you have been manipulated. Part of it is, of course, your empathic and loving nature. Now, I know that there is another side of you, but it is buried deeply. There is a part of you that has been trying to resurface. Sometimes you have felt the anger bubbling up inside of you, but you have pressed it down. You feel that your anger is a bad part of you, and it is not something that you wish to act on, which is admirable. But when you completely ignore it and push it down, then you are not a whole person, and it will bubble out like sideways. It will come out when you really don't want it to show its face. So acknowledging that you are hurt and that you are angry, that you have been treated unfairly, and getting in touch with those feelings, that is a really important part. Carl Jung called it acknowledging and integrating the shadow. And when you do that, you become more of a whole person, and you also become stronger. One of the things that helped me to get out of my abusive marriage was that I really felt angry. I became really, really angry. It was like steaming anger. I don't think he had ever seen me like that. Like the injustices and the wrong treatment of me had just been built up, and then he pushed me over the edge, so to speak, with another action that was really like a hit under the belt. And that just awoke this very angry part of me that helped me. So your anger is there to protect you and to help you. Feeling angry when you are treated unjustly is actually a very natural response, and it's a part that you need to awaken. You need to protect yourself mentally, because he will try to get you to get in touch with that soft spot, and he will play on your feelings, and he will play nice, and he will try to make you pity him. If you try to claim what is justly yours, he will say, well, how about me? I don't know how to do this, and what do you want me to live out of nothing, and how can you be so selfish? And he will play on all those feelings. It is a manipulation. It is a manipulation. I'm repeating this. He knows you very, very well. He knows where your soft spot is. And your becoming ex-partner will really have his gaze on the bucks. He will focus on the resources. That is what he is trying to claim for himself. Another part that might prevent you from playing hardball is that you are afraid that, well, if I go for the resources, then he might be more mean, or then I will really paint myself out as the enemy and he will attack me. And if things were bad before, now imagine how it will be. He will attack you anyway, but he will perhaps start with playing nice. And then when you give things up and he feels stronger, that is when he will attack you. And at that point, you will be weaker, you will have been weakened, and he had made himself stronger. So you can't save yourself by giving things up, not when you're dealing with a bully and an abuser. Another thing is that you feel that you really want to protect your kids. So in order to do that and to decrease the conflict, you give him the financial resources, or you let him stay in the home, or give him more of than his fair share. So you think that will prevent him from going after what you really care about. He really cares about the finances, so let him have that, and I really care about the kids, so he will respect that. He won't respect that. The same thing when you're weakened, when he has the financial abilities, that is when he will get the best lawyer and he will go after you. The very thing that you pulled yourself out of his control, that makes you the enemy. That's enough for him to see you as the enemy. Don't negotiate with terrorists. Don't negotiate with bullies. You are in a battle. You need to bring out that angry part, or the part where you claim you're right. And don't negotiate. Don't give him things for free so that you hope that he will give you something in return. It won't work. Now the other step, and as you can see, this talk is a bit inspired from Sun Tzu, The Art of War. It's an old book to teach military strategy, but I've also read this. It's a short one from Sam Vaknin, How to Divorce a Narcissist or Psychopath. It's quite good, especially if you are looking for ways to irritate him in court. He gives a few really good suggestions on how to make the narcissist lose his balance and expose his real self. I will tell you a few of the points that he makes later in the video. Let's see. Yeah, and also the big inspiration is my own journey and how I was able to actually tap into this part of myself, and I was able to make huge wins. And really felt empowered and stronger in the process. So in The Art of War, Sun Tzu writes that in order for you to win a battle or a war, you need to know yourself and you need to know your enemy. What does he mean by that? Well, he means that you need to know your strength. You need to know what your strategic leverage is, and the same with your enemy. So I would advise you to sit down and just make an assessment. Now, this will be hard because during the relationship, your partner was made out to be really powerful and big in your mind. So you see him like he's really smart and he's manipulative. I can never defeat him, and he will know what I'm trying to do. He's almost inside my mind. This is an illusion. That is what he wants you to think. That is what he wants to think about himself. He sees himself as very smart and powerful, at least in your interaction. And just because he says things or point things out to you, like during the relationship, he might jump on something like small thing that you did, and you feel like, oh, he's all over the place. Like, how can he know this? And that is just part of his strategy. Like, he doesn't know everything. Actually, he's pretty sloppy. But like when he does notice something, he really picks on that, and it may be small things because you're doing like like in the big picture you are really great, but then he will point out like, that's your little flaw, and now let's dig into that and see if I can hurt you with that. So try to make an objective assessment. Who has the most financial resources? Do you have savings? Does he have savings? Do you have an income? Does he have a job and income? Like, how... this is important because it will be sort of... you have to use those resources to get the lawyers, like to be able to last out in this battle. So try to just get the proper assessment of like, how is the finances? Okay, so how is the living condition? Do you have a stable home? Like, are you in a stable and strong position? Or do you need to strengthen that position? Like, if you need to strengthen it, perhaps you can put off the battle, like try to evade him a bit. Like, don't try to engage in a real battle when you're feeling weak. Rather try to evade, or like try to really, if you're in a weak position, you should more go for the strategic points. Like, of course, working within the system. But yeah, my point is just that try to make an assessment. Is this the right time for you to start something, or should you wait a bit and build yourself up? Who has witnesses? Like, do you have witnesses on your side? Do you have people who have seen him been abusive, seen him cheat? Do you have teachers? Do you have doctors, psychologists who can witness in your favor? That's a real good strength. Who has supporters around them? Like, do you have loyal and trusted family members, parents, friends on your side who knows you well and will support you? That is really great. And of course, it is also good to know if the narcissistic person does have a really big and powerful support system. That's good to know. Not to scare you, but just to paint out a landscape that you have to move in, and to not be surprised of what is happening. Who has the most intelligence? So being manipulative doesn't mean that you are intelligent. Like, try to make an assessment of that, like the intelligence part, who will be able to keep their head cool. Probably not your narcissistic ex if he is triggered. Like, if he is put under stress, he will more easily break. Now, it's important to know, of course, that like narcissists really thrive on battles as long as it doesn't come to a home front. Like, he would really love to engage you in battle and fight it out, and like throw the pies at you and tell everyone how bad you are. But if it comes to his home porch, like if it's if something of his is up for the like if he feels threatened, then he will really easily break under the stress. And another weakness of his is, of course, his ego. So it's really important for him to see himself as strong and special and entitled to special favors. And this is something that you can play a bit on in court, like not openly. And Sam Vaknin writes about this, like really smart in his book. But you could perhaps have your lawyer like say something to him, or like you don't want to be painted out as a person holding a grudge, but you can just like tell the narcissistic ex that you have to follow the rules just like everyone else, or something like that could really actually irritate him. He doesn't want to be viewed as everyone else. Or have your lawyer slip up when he says his age or something like that. So that could trigger like his ego defense and like make him show that rageful side of himself, the unstable side. So you go through the resources, and then you make an assessment, okay, so what is my next step? What I want in this process? If you have kids in a younger ages, and they might be forced to live or spend time with their father, if he is abusive or dangerous, then of course that could be a really high priority for you. And as I said, you do protect your kids by strengthening yourself and by not giving him all the favors. But just so we will return to the issue about the kids, but just like make it clear in your mind what is your aim. Like the kids, do you want to stay in the house, or what is your aim in this situation? And then, like during your relationship, your partner was always the one who was calling the shots, like taking the actions, and you were the one who had to respond. Now you are going to shift that dynamic. So you are the one who will take the actions. You are the one who will report him. You are the one who will get a lawyer. You are the one who will take the actions that he needs to react to. And that will put him in a defensive position, and he's not used to that, especially not with you. It might even make him feel like, who is this woman? I don't know her. Like, was she tricking me the whole time? And he will become a bit paranoid. And that's a good thing for you, like when he's thrown off balance. Anytime, and Sun Tzu writes about this also in The Art of War. So anytime that you let the opponent choose the battle, you are already in unfavorable position. Like the person who chooses, like this is the battle that we are going for, he is the one who has the upper hand right from the beginning. Is he violent? Do you need a restraining order? Of course, if you think that he might be violent, you will have to make a danger assessment and contact someone who can help you with that. You can call the violence hotlines and ask them and inform them about your situation. Make sure that you are safe. That is, of course, a very top priority during this whole phase. When you are showing that you are stronger and he's feeling that he's losing control, that can trigger him and set him off and make him do something dangerous. So really consider your safety. And this video is not it is not the only thing you have to watch in order to prepare yourself. You have to reach out, tell the authorities, ask for help, ask for legal advice, and everything like that, of course. So in the courtroom, many courts can be swayed by the charming nature of the narcissist, and they can really put on a charming show. You need to punctuate that charm, like make them look a little deeper under the surface. Your best tools are documentation, like facts. Do you have witnesses, like doctors, teachers? Do you have a videotape of him? Like anything that is tangible, that will work in your favor. Like the narcissist will pull all his usual manipulations, trying to evade the subject and like use his charm and change the topic and talk about things. But like these tangible things, the facts, that is what will bring him down and force him to answer the questions. Educate your lawyer, or if you have a lawyer who is used to dealing with these people, that is very good. Like he shouldn't allow him to get away with just some airy-fairy answer to the question. Like no, he needs to answer the question, and he needs to come up like with the details, with the facts, and that will be really hard on the narcissistic person. And of course, you can also throw in a bit like irritation of the ego inside the mix, and like you have to answer the question like just like everyone has to do in court or things like that. And then like if it comes to kids, so being a mom, I know how scary it can be with the prospect that you might have to leave your kids in a dangerous situation. This is also a situation where you trust the documentation, try to document everything, try to get like statements from teachers, from doctors, psychologists. Don't be afraid to ask for supervised visitations if you feel that it is a dangerous situation. You do need to work within the system, like you can't go against what the court orders, but you can try to persuade the court by using evidence. And like you need to be a bit cool-headed. You can't be showing yourself to be too emotional. And when, of course, you do get emotional, and it can be hard to like collect your thoughts, but like prepare yourself in advance what you will say, what the evidences are. And I did a video yesterday dealing with like how you talk to the authorities and the police and remain clear-headed, and you might want to check that out. I will put it up here. Okay, so it will be like it is hard to go up against, like in a battle against someone that you loved. You do need to tap into that warrior woman. I know that she's in there. And I will tell you like a bit of my own story, and then I will share with you like some inspiration that you might want to check out. So after our separation, I had this apartment in, it wasn't in the same town that we lived in. It was in a town that we had lived in a few years earlier, and my husband had like manipulated me into buying this apartment. It was a very expensive apartment, and I had a huge loan in my name, and he was basically like living there half time. He said that he was going to renovate it, but he just put some color on the walls, and then he bought furniture for this apartment, saying that we will rent it out and get some extra income, but it never happened. And he was just going back and forth like between our apartment and this apartment, and staying away for days. I don't know what he did, but at this point he had become so nasty that I felt it was just a relief not to have him there. After the separation, I wanted him out really quickly from the apartment where we lived in. That one was also on my name, but it was a rental. And I just told him like, go to the other apartment. Well, it wasn't that simple. I had to, but that's not what happened. I just didn't tell him that it was, but I at least sent him the message that you can't be in my apartment, like you could go to the other one. He went there, and I said that I will like pay for it until you get on your feet. And during this time, it was intimidating, and he was just beginning to stalk me. And I felt like, well, I will just continue to pay for this apartment, like even though it is really expensive. I just don't want him to like be even more angry with me. So I did that for several months. Actually, it was like in a total of 6 months. But it didn't stop him from like increasing the pressure and the stalking behavior and the nasty emails. And I had a friend, like a good friend, and she told me that what are you doing? Like, why are you paying for him? And you are yourself, like, I started to have burnout symptoms, and like didn't get my full salary. And she basically convinced me that you need to stop that. You can't do that. You can't pay for an adult man. So I got a lawyer and tried to get him to pay the rent. And I told him, like, he wanted to take over the apartment, and I said that you can just, like, if you just take over the loan, I don't need to make a win. I don't need any money from it. Just take it. But you need to start to pay the rent. I can't, like, the expenses. I can't do it. And then I got this, like, very manipulative emails. Every time I try that, it was like, look, I'm eating porridge every day, and an image of a plate of porridge, and so I will feel bad. But I also noticed a different pattern in our emails. So when I would be cool-headed or hard, like when I was playing hardball, then he would back down. But as soon as, then he would back down. No, sorry. And then he would start the manipulation, like, look what I'm eating, and I don't have any money, like, I don't know how to cook. And then I would say, well, okay, I will do it this month. And then he would, like, switch. As soon as I showed my weakness, he would switch. So then it was like, yeah, you do that, and then for the next month, and then you tell the real estate attorney that we're not selling. So as soon as I showed weakness, then he took it as that this is my opportunity to climb on top of you again and take back control. So that was a pattern that I saw. So even though I spent a lot of money during this time, it was really helpful to make me see from another side how he manipulated and how his tactics were. So that actually helped me when I eventually, like, it did not work to have him there. Eventually I have to evict him and sell the apartment. And it was very hard to get him to leave. It was like, as soon as we tried to sit, like, to turn my eternity and him, and then he got one eternity from himself. As soon as there was talk of negotiation, then he did the same thing, like, yeah, let's see how much I can get out of this. So eventually I just decided to stop negotiate, and I told my lawyer, yes, no, send him this mail, like, this is the last date. If it's not out, then we will go forth to we will take the case further. And that scared him, so he said eventually, I will leave the case, but so if you sign this document and you say that the apartment is in perfect order, even though I hadn't seen it. And my lawyer said, like, I wasn't there. It was my lawyer handled it, so I was not interacting directly with him. But my lawyer advised me, like, you should really take this, like, take the deal, sign the papers, don't go to court, it will cost you a lot. But I used this knowledge from my partner that when I negotiate, like, it doesn't go well. So I told my lawyer, like, no, I'm not negotiating. And he actually called me twice, like, you're making a mistake, don't do it. But I said, no, like, either he leaves it or we go into court. So he left the keys. And then my lawyer called me and said, like, how did you know that? Like, you were right. I didn't know that you would be right. And I told him, like, no, I know this man. Like, if I would have agreed, then he would continue to dingle the keys and, like, see how far I will jump. So I don't know if your partner is the same way, and perhaps you don't know either because you have never gone against him or challenged him. But in my case, it really worked to, like, not negotiate. And I was in the stronger position as well. But you have to make an assessment, and you have to decide what your strengths and your weaknesses are. And you have to tap into this warrior side of you in order to protect yourself and your kids. like the person that you think you know, that is only the face that he puts out in order to get what he wants from you. And you know the other part of him, that angry and demeaning part. Would you want to give what you have to him, to that angry person who will use it to hurt others? One thing that really helped me to tap into this, like the stronger side or the angry side, was actually like a couple of movies or film clips. And I have a younger sister who really she's a bit of a warrior, so she showed things to me, like, you shouldn't be afraid, you should feel like you should do like this lady in this movie. And it really helped to get some inspiration. If you have find some movie that you like, I think I'm sorry, it just stands still in my head, but of women who are strong and are avenging themselves. And you can listen to the Guns N' Roses, Live and Let Die. To tap into that stronger, the fearful side of you. It is there, and it is there to help you. You have been, perhaps you were from a young age, it wasn't accepted that you show anger, or you try, when you stand up and say no and don't cooperate, that was not encouraged, so you press that side down of you, but now it's really the time that you need that side, and it is time that you bring that out and integrate it. So integrate that shadow part of yourself. You don't need to be ashamed of it. It is there to protect you. It is not there to take over. It will not make you a narcissist or an abuser or a selfish person. That you have the ability to be strong and assertive when it is needed. And you are a wonderful person. You did not deserve what he did to you. And you do deserve to have your right. And you do deserve to be protected and safe. And so does your kids. If you like this video, I think I will create a playlist for this, the court, talking to the authorities, and your relevant videos, and I will put it here at the end of this video. This is Emma holding up a light over the bridge. Remember, there is always a way out. There is always a way forward. Please be safe, take care, and have a great day. When you were young and your heart was an open book, you used to say, live and let live. You know you did, you know you did, you know you did. And if this narcissistic man with whom you live with makes you break down and cry, say live and let die. Live and let die. Now the end.